He puts his hand out and says, okay, you're the one that's been telling us not one word, not one letter has changed. Therefore, which one of these 30 is the Quran that is the one that's never been changed? How would you answer that, Frank? He didn't know how to answer that. The qira'at is when you read the Quran in Arabic, there are many different readings. There are many different ways to read the same word, which changes the meaning and changes the theology and the doctrine. There's about 100,000 of these differences between the 30 official Qurans, Arabic Qurans.
All right, but hey, hold on, because people are going to go, what?
Okay, this may be the first time they're hearing
30 different Qurans. Dr. Smith, what are you talking about? I know people are going, wait a minute, 30 different Qurans? The Quran is eternal. There are no changes to it. There haven't been changes to it in 1,400 years. There's only one Quran, Jay, according to Muslims. You say no. What are you talking about?
Take a look at these two right here.
All right.
They're both Qurans. They're not alike. These are over 1,000 years old, these two. Now, not the book itself. This one here is known as the Warsh Quran. This one here is known as the Hafs. I have 5 more up there. Those 5 more. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. I have 7 more. There are 30 different ones. You can just buy these. You can buy online today. There are 5,000 different words between these two Qurans right here, which means 5,000 different verses, which means 5,000 different meanings. And these are not vowelizations necessarily. These are actually different consonantal texts that with the vowelization, which changes the meaning diametrically. So this is the problem, and this was only discovered by my, well, I shouldn't say discovered, but was made popular by my colleague, Hatun Tash, and she and I held these up in 2016 at Speaker's Corner, and that went all over the world. That's the beauty of Speaker's Corner, because by 2016 we had smartphones that we could actually film what we were doing and then put it up on the internet like you're doing it right now. That went all over the world, and Muhammad Hijab, probably one of the most popular YouTubers in the Muslim world, was right there watching us, and he was in the crowd filming us, and he went outside the crowd and said, everybody come to me, don't look at what they're showing you, don't listen to what they're saying, I will explain what these are. These are known as qira'at. Well, that was 2016. 4 years later, he had no idea what we had been showing or how to defend it, so he went and did an interview, supposedly a private interview, like YouTube, like what we're doing right now, and he asked Dr. Yasser Qadi in Dallas, Texas, the world authority on the Qira'at, because he'd done his doctoral thesis on this. He put out his hand like this and he says, I'm showing you a blank mushaf. I'm showing you a blank piece of paper. Which Qira'at, which Quran is the one that was in heaven? Which is the Quran that was revealed to Muhammad? Is it the Hafs? Is it the Warsh? He couldn't even get through his sentence before he was shut down by Yasser Qadi. He said, do not ask me this question. Turn off the camera. We don't talk about this in public. This has been the most difficult question in the last 1,000 years for Muslim scholars. Because how do you have, I have 9 right here, 2 right here. How do you have 30 official? Remember, in the 10th century, there were 700 of these. It took them to whittle them down. 7 in the 10th century by a man named Ibn Mujahid. Another 14 were added in the 12th century by a man named Shatabi, and then in the 15th century, in 1429, another 9 were added by Al-Jazari. So 3 different stages of adding or whittling away from the 700, getting it down to 30 Qur'ans. 30 different Arabic Qur'ans written by men in 6 different cities. No 2 were alike. They didn't even look or open one page to see if they were alike. They didn't care because they wanted students to memorize their Quran. And so that's why these proliferated over the intervening 1,200 years. So until 1924 in Cairo, with these 30 different Qurans, you can't have standardized tests in high schools. And so they went to a Muslim scholar named Muhammad al-Haddad there at Al-Azhar University to choose just one. And he chose this one right here, the Hafs. He chose this one, the Hafs, which is this one here.
This is in 1924.
We're talking about 100 years ago.
1924.
This was chosen as the official Quran, just for Cairo, just for the city of Cairo. Okay. That then went through 7 revisions because they found lots of grammatical mistakes and whatnot with it. And so finally in 1936, they then made it official for all of Egypt, but just for one country, Egypt. But that became so successful because now they had one Quran that all the students could memorize, that they could have standardized tests for. So in 1985, Saudi Arabia, seeing how successful that was for Egypt, made this Quran the official Quran for the entire world. So we're talking about, you were alive in 1985, were you not, Frank?
Yeah. Am I older than the Quran?
You are older than the official Quran. There you go. Doesn't that make you feel old? Can you see how disturbing this is for Muslims to hear this? So when Muslims have been told, including Yasser Qadi himself, he has said, you can see him on video over and over and over again, there is not one word, there is not one letter that is different. Every Quran is exactly the same, because they have to say that, because this is eternal. And not only that, the Quran says it. In chapter 10, verse 15.
Which Quran says it, Jay?
They all say it. They all say it. This verse is not in doubt, because this is the same in all 30 Qurans.
All right, okay.
Chapter 10, verse 15, and chapter 18, verse 27, every Quran says, I put that upside down by accident, now it's right side up. Every Quran says, for the word of God does not change. In chapter 15, verse 9 of every Quran, it says that Allah will guard the Quran from being changed. And then in chapter 85, verse 19 and 20, it says, for this is the preserved tablet. That means it is the eternal tablet, which if it is eternal, how can man change it? So you can see, they have to say it because the Quran makes those claims. And Yasser Qadi has been saying it over and over again. Now suddenly, here comes Muhammad Hijab. He puts his hand out and says, okay, you're the one that's been telling us, not one word, not one letter has changed. Therefore, which one of these 30 is the Quran that is the one that's never been changed? How would you answer that, Frank? He didn't know how to answer that. And 28 minutes, I kid you not, he kept on coming back, trying to excuse it, trying to explain it, looking and saying, listen, this is the West. I live in a different world than you, Muhammad Hijab. I live in academia. I live here in Dallas, Texas. I went to Yale University. I live in a world where there are no red lines. You live in a world where there are certain red lines. There are certain things we do not ask of the Quran. And we don't go beyond that line. And this is one of those questions. You do not ask this question of the Quran.